Hey, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about trust and wills. Do I need one? Should I have one? And I would tell you that one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make when it comes to their planning for their future is they haven't addressed the issue of trust or wills. People ask me all the time. Now, let me show you a little magic trick. If you were to come to my office, you would see around my office about 6 of these posters right here. And you would notice and know almost all these people. Over here we have Rockefeller, and we have Ray Charles and Ted Williams and Whitney Houston, and we've got over here Warren Berger, and we've got Howard Hughes and James Brown and Sammy Davis Jr. and Marilyn Monroe. And what you would find about all of these people is they have the same thing in common. They didn't take care of their estate planning. And everybody thinks that, well, I don't have that big of a estate, I don't have to worry about that. But folks, everybody needs estate planning. Now, how much estate planning they need remains to be seen, but everybody needs estate planning. And here's just a few of those examples of some of the shrinkage of happens on these estates when you don't do proper estate planning. Elvis Presley, 73%, William Bowling, 47, 56, 55, 23, 20% shrinkage on the estate. All because they didn't take the time to make sure that they had a will and a trust in place and have the proper estate planning. And so what ended up happening is the courts got involved, and then it becomes in-laws and outlaws. Over your lifetime, you'll work very hard at increasing your circle of wealth and your overall estate. And if you're like everybody out there, you're always trying to make that circle of wealth bigger. Now, that circle of wealth is made up of 3 types of money. It's made up of your accumulated money, your lifestyle money, and your transferred money. And today, we're going to talk about that accumulated money. Now, usually we would talk about the transferred money and how you're transferring money unknowingly and unnecessarily out of your life. But today, we're going to focus on that accumulated money and the wealth transfers that happen in the process. Now, the places that we transfer that money is mortgages, qualified plans, college, taxes, protection, and major purchases. But one of the largest wealth transfers happens in estate taxes and not having the proper estate plan in place. Debts, estate liabilities, legal and administration fees, probate and contestability, income taxes. One of the largest wealth transfers could take place at your death. Now, some states even have an estate tax. So not only do we have the federal tax, some states have an estate tax. And you can see here that the exemption from that estate tax in 2005 was $1.5 million. In 2010, there was no estate tax. There was one billionaire that actually managed to die during that time and got out without paying any estate taxes whatsoever. 2015, 5.43 million. 2020, 11.58 million. Now we have an exemption of $13,610,000 per person, or a lifetime gifting, or being able to avoid estate taxes at $27,220,000, 220,000 rather. Folks, in 2025, the Trump tax laws will sunset, and it's set for these laws to repeal back, and we don't know what they'll end up being, but the predictions are they'll go to a $5 to $6 million exemption. So if you have a rather healthy estate, you could be transferring a good portion of that estate out in estate taxes. It's your choice. You can do nothing. You can let the state court system select the allocations, timing, and disposition of your assets. You can let others rush the liquidation strategies of your assets. You can let the federal and state codes select the method, timing, and amount of your tax payments. Or you can make these choices as a part of your financial estate plan now. Being proactive, as you'll hear me say over and over again, get proactive, not reactive. There's 3 ways to pass on assets. The government's way. Nothing in place. Just do nothing, don't worry, the government's got a plan for you. There's the I wish way. That's a will. Now, what you need to understand about a will is that if you have a will, that's a good start. But a will is a guaranteed ticket to probate. And probate is a legal process by which they verify your will. And if you don't have a will, they assign you one. And then they'll make all your other decisions for you along the way. And how do you feel about that? How do you feel about the fact that some lawyer and judge will be sitting around and deciding, and then the outlaws, or in-laws as we call them, will come out of the woodwork claiming this and that and another thing, when in fact that's not what you wanted? Or you have the mind your own business way, and that's to have a living trust. Now, a living trust is something that most people should have. Now, if you have children, if you own real estate, now when I say children, children under 18, you have real estate, you have special needs children, any one of these things are like, you absolutely need a trust. Having a proper estate documents in place is only the first step. Your accounts need to be properly titled and maintain correct beneficiary designations. I ask this question of people all the time. Would you bet your life that every single financial account you have, checking, savings, brokerage accounts, life insurance, annuities, any account that you have, has the proper primary and contingent beneficiary on it? And if you wouldn't bet your life on it, you need to go out today and you need to go check right now and see if that's the case. But if you have a trust, have you funded that trust? Have you put the real estate in the name of that trust? If you don't have a trust, you're going to need to have a trust so that you can pass on things like real estate, cars, boats, houses, anything along those lines, because those things don't have beneficiary forms. Which assets do you leave behind? Well, when it comes to leaving assets behind to your heirs, the best is life insurance and Roth IRAs. There are no better assets to leave to your heirs. Now, we could argue that real estate is inside of there, and because real estate's inside of there, and stocks and bonds, because they get a step up in basis. Now, the difference between real estate, stocks, and bonds is they reset the clock as soon as you get there, whereas life insurance blossoms up into more amount of money than you actually have, and a Roth IRA continues to be tax-free for the next 10 years. Taxable accounts, brokerage accounts, mutual funds, checking, savings, money markets, certificates of disappointment. And the worst possible money to leave behind to your heirs is your tax-deferred annuities and traditional IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, so on and so forth. Because see, not only are those subject to estate taxes, they're also subject to ordinary income taxes. And you can literally leave behind as little as 10 to 20% of that asset to your children or to your loved ones. A will could be the most important document you ever sign. Almost 2/3 of Americans do not have a valid will. Without a will, the courts not only decide who is entitled to get your assets as well as maintain custody of your minor children. In addition to a valid will, a trust may be necessary to guarantee that what you want to have happen will happen. Who is the beneficiary of your life insurance policy? You may be surprised. Now, folks, we went over this pretty quick. But the thing for you to remember is that if you haven't done some form of estate planning, such as a trust or a will, today is the time to do that. Right now. You can reach out to us. We have a service for getting trust done. It's a very reasonable price throughout the entire United States, and it'll be completed for you in a very short period of time. And you can go to bed at night knowing well that there's not a problem. Now remember, a trust does two things for you. It keeps you out of probate and death and conservatorship in life. So what would happen right now today if you and your wife went out to dinner, you got in a car accident, and one of you became a vegetable? Should we pull the plug or shouldn't we pull the plug? And the answer is, where is that written? What if it happened to both of you? What if you both died? What would happen to your family? Would they be swearing your name for the next year, 2 years, thinking, oh, I can't believe mom and dad did this to us. Why didn't they take the time to do the planning? So remember to get proactive. Also, remember to live like you're going to die tomorrow and plan like you're going to live forever, because you just might. Put some comments down here below about your thoughts on estate planning. Maybe you have a friend that you can tell us a story about what happened to them, or family member, because they didn't get their estate planning done. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and keep smiling and make it a great day.